to go in spring training, and questions still remain for the Tribe. Who will win the 5th spot in the rotation? Who will lock down the last 2 roles in the bullpen? And who will start in left field? Will Jack Hanahan or Lonnie Chisenhall be the opening day starter at 3rd? We'll begin to answer those questions next on Sports Time Ohio. Beautiful sunny skies in Goodyear, Arizona, but the temperatures have cooled off considerably. Will only be in the 50s today as the Indians host the Los Angeles Dodgers in Cactus League action. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. And as we begin today's ball game, we'll focus a little bit more on the left field position. Nobody really has separated themselves in the battle for the everyday left field spot. But I think we can say, not necessarily with certainty, but we feel pretty confident knowing that Shelley Duncan will be on this club. It's just a matter of, will he be the starter or will he be that extra guy?
Well, I think he is going to get his share of starts. He can also play first base. But Russ Kanzler, a guy who's swinging probably the best bat of any of the outfield position, but he has options left. Ryan Spilborghs is definitely, I think, going to make this team because he's the second center fielder there. So you can look at it. Aaron Cunningham is a guy that's in the mix. He has no options left, so he may get a look-see. But you know what? There's 2 weeks left. Everybody will get an opportunity, but I think it's going to be Duncan. I would say Spilborghs.
So that's the way it shapes up for right now. And as far as today's pitching matchup, well, pretty good one. Clayton Kershaw, the stud for the Dodgers, going up against Jenmar Gomez, who's very quietly making a strong bid for that 5th spot in the starting rotation.
He's been the best pitcher for the Indians all spring. 7 innings. He has shut out baseball, allowed only 3 hits. He's getting the ground ball. He has really looked very, very well this spring. He's throwing good breaking ball. The sinker's been down. He's getting the ground ball when needed. So he could possibly come out of here with the 5th starting role. We'll see. He's matched up against last year's NL Cy Young Award winner. It should be fun. I haven't seen him pitch live. Looking forward to it this afternoon.
Yeah, Kershaw, the Cy Young winner a year ago, in addition to winning the pitching version of the Triple Crown. We're back with all of today's play-by-play action from Goodyear, Arizona, coming up next. Dodgers manager Don Mattingly signing a few autographs before today's ball game. And a nice crowd settling in here today in Goodyear. As I mentioned, a little on the cool side. We've had temperatures really consistently high 70s, low to mid 80s. But we had a significant storm blow through the valley yesterday, and that cooled things off considerably. Today's game time temperature 53 degrees. And the irony to that, Rick, is that back home everyone's
still 70.
Telling me it's in the mid 70s back home.
It is.
So A little bit odd, but temperatures expected to warm up considerably here in the next few days. Genmar Gomez making his warm-up tosses for the Tribe. Let's look at Don Mattingly's starting 9 for the Dodgers. Jerry Hairston Jr. in the leadoff spot, followed by James Loney, then Matt Kemp. Andre Ethier hitting cleanup. Juan Rivera bats 5th. Adam Kennedy 6th. Justin Sellers in the 7th spot, followed by Matt Trainer. And the pitcher Clayton Kershaw will hit 9th.
Well, Genmar Gomez on the mound. He has been brilliant this spring. 7 innings, zeros across the board, and he's fighting for that number 5 spot in the rotation, and he certainly has not done anything wrong to hurt his chances of moving into that spot. Now, let's look behind Genmar this afternoon and check out the Indians' defense. It looks like this. Kanzler will get the start in left field. Brantley is in center, Chu in right. It'll be Lopez getting the start at third. Donald is at short. Kipnis at second. Kochman at first. And Santana behind the plate.
The umpiring crew today, Tony Randazzo calling the balls and strikes. Then you've got Mike Winters, Jim Wolf, and Dan Bellino working the bases. So Jerry Hairston will step in, ready to get us underway. Genmar Gomez has been terrific so far on the spring. 3 outings. He has allowed just 3 hits. He's walked 2 and he's struck out 4.
You know, it's funny because, you know, you hear Manny Acta talking all spring long. Someone's got to take the bull by the horns, or someone's really got to separate themselves. This kid has done that. When you look at the number 5 man in the rotation, he's looking for it in the left field spot. It hasn't happened. And, you know, some of the utility infielders, maybe Lopez, who's playing third today, has a leg up. Jason Donald playing short. So
swung on and missed, and the count evens at 1-1. Well, when you talk about Genmar Gomez, not an overpowering guy, but it comes back to the old adage of trusting your stuff. When he trusts his stuff and throws strikes, he can be effective. But when he falls behind, like a lot of young pitchers have a habit of doing, and has to come into the hitters, that's when he can fall into problems. And catch in right field by Chu for out number 1.
Yeah, well, that's true. But as we've witnessed in the past, a lot of young pitchers, you know, Genmar has been up here a couple of times now, and maybe he really feels comfortable, and he's starting to mature. He has to, you know, as any pitcher, command the secondary pitches, his changeup, his slider, when you do fall behind. Maybe he's getting a little more confidence doing that. But he's certainly not intimidated like a lot of young pitchers are, and like he once was.
Here's James Loney. And takes a strike from Genmar Gomez. Loney has done a terrific job for the Dodgers defensively at first base, but he has not developed offensively as they initially had hoped. RBIs down each of the last 2 years. Time call. And that really makes the efforts of the guy on deck, what he did last year, all the more impressive, because he didn't have really much protection in that lineup at all.
Well, you have to love to hit in front of that guy.
Bounced it in. Matt Kemp, the on deck hitter, edged out by Ryan Braun of Milwaukee for the MVP award, but you can make an argument that the Dodgers have not only the best pitcher, but the best position player in the National League.
Kershaw won the Triple Crown for pitching. This guy just missed the Triple Crown.
Yes, he
did. He missed by batting average.
A few more hits, he might have had it.
But he was right there to the end, and that is something very, very hard to do.
Kochman flips to Gomez. 2 down here in the first. Good to see Casey Kochman back on the field, back in the lineup. He was bothered by lower back tightness. He said, man, I just woke up one morning and it was there. It was just sore and tight. Never really had to deal with anything like that before. But he feels much better. He said it's been improving nicely. He said, I'm just happy to be back on the field and now back in game action as well. Here is Matt Kemp. 39 home runs, 126 runs batted in. He scored 115 runs. He stole 40 bases.
That's impressive in its own right.
He also won the Gold Glove. Yeah, he just missed being a 40-40 guy. And knowing what we know now, Rick, about the era that Jose Canseco played in and what he did, it really puts Matt Kemp in a whole different light.
It sure does. You look at those. That's unbelievable. He says, I mean, his goal this year, because you always want to improve on last year's number, his numbers, he's looking to be a 50-50 guy. Now, sounds like it would be impossible, doesn't it?
Kicked off Lopez for an error, and Kemp is aboard with 2 down. Well, especially in Dodger Stadium, because, you know, they all say that in the night it doesn't travel as well.
That's exactly right. Well, there's a routine play right there that Lopez boots.
Looked like it jumped up and hit him on the wrist.
We talk about these infields being a little harder, a little quicker. It certainly was on that one.
Indians like what they've seen so far from Lopez in terms of being a guy that could win a spot as an extra infielder on this club, along with Jason Donald. Andre Ethier takes a strike over the outside corner.
Here's another guy that the Dodgers need healthy to come in there and do a job. He puts up terrific numbers when he's healthy. Injured a little bit last year, but a very good left-handed hitter.
Ooh, that went right off the facing of the dugout, and the Indians.
You talk about get out of my kitchen. That ball looked like it was about 3 or 4 inches off the plate on the inside.
I think it had Jack Hanahan's name on it.
Well,
they
did not have time to move. Watch where this pitch is. So far inside. And look at him. That's how quick his hands are. And he hits it the only place he possibly could. And he pulled it about 30 feet foul.
Runner goes on the 0-2 pitch. It's outside. Throw down. They got him. Kemp thrown out trying to steal by Carlos Santana. And it's a scoreless first for Genmar Gomez. The Indians coming to bat when we come back. Checking out the program, seeing who's in the starting lineup. Well, let's go ahead and take it. Who starts today for the Indians? Michael Brantley leading it off in center field. And it's Jason Donald, followed by Shin-Soo Choo. Carlos Santana, Jose Lopez, and Casey Kochman in the middle, followed by Shelley Duncan, Jason Kipnis, and Russ Kanzler. Michael Brantley, a fine spring, hitting .292. 3 doubles, a triple. He's driven in 4. He's walked 4 times and struck out 4 times.
Well, Michael going to get the opportunity to lead off this year. And I think he'll do a fine job. He's got a pretty good idea at the plate, knows the strike zone.
A little bit too high. 2 balls and a strike. Clayton Kershaw became the 8th Dodger to win the Cy Young Award last year. 3 balls and a strike. Mentioned earlier he won the Triple Crown of pitching. He tied for the league lead in wins with 21. Led the league in ERA with 228 and strikeouts with 248. Out of play, full count.
Well, that's the opportunity too when you're a hitter, especially a left-handed hitter. If you can get the count in your favor against a guy like this, where you know he's going to throw the fastball. Michael had a 3-1 fastball he was going to get. That's the one you want to hit and put in play. Because you get to 2 strikes, he's got that, you know, the awesome curveball of his. He can go a number of ways.
Brantley hits it on the ground to second, kicked by Sellers, and he just does get Brantley for out number 1.
No, you look at some of the numbers that this young man, Clayton Kershaw, had last year. You can see why he is talked about as being one of the best pitchers in the game. Even the name of Sandy Koufax comes into play. 248 strikeouts last year. Koufax had 317. But then again, he's not going to get as many starts. The 21 wins, the ERA. Got to go back to Oral Hershiser. But when they talk about this guy, this is something special. And you know what? I mean, I think he finished the season 8-0. You know, ending it. And the Dodgers really did play well the second half. But this guy ended up beating Tim Lincecum 3 straight times. I think it was 1-0, 1-0, and a 2-1 game or something like that. They matched up because they're in the same division, and he bested him 3 times last year.
Actually beat him 4 times. He was 4-0 with an ERA of 0.30 in head-to-head matchups against Tim Lincecum.
There you go.
You talk about being in a division where you've got some pretty good pitchers, and they matched up 4 times.
Okay, I remember the first 3. But this guy was something really special.
Just missed inside.
And you see he's working on that. He's got a slider that's coming about. He's toying around with getting a feel for a changeup. He's trying to develop into a complete pitcher. And you have to improve. This kid's only 24 years old.
The 2-2. Donald with a line drive into right field.
There's a pretty good approach there by Jason Donald. I mean, he was running that little cutter inside, and then all of a sudden Jason says, I'm going to stay inside the baseball. That might have been a changeup away, but he let that ball get deep in the zone, and it was up a little bit, so it made it a little easier for him to take the other way. So he gets the first hit of the ball game.
Now the pitch. And Shin-Soo Choo looks at ball 1. Choo on the spring hitting .321. He's homered twice. He's driven in 4 runs. He also has doubled twice. That's down low. 2 balls, no strikes. Kershaw with a runner at first and 1 out here in inning number 1. A little bit outside, and it's 3-0.
Well, he's just a little bit off with his control right now. Hitter's getting into decent counts, and that's when you want to try and get him early. And he's not missing by much.
Choo taking its ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. And Carlos Santana coming to the plate. Don Newcomb won the first Cy Young Award for the Dodgers back in 1956. Sandy Koufax won it 3 times. Mike Marshall and Eric Gagne, both primarily relievers. Gagne won it with 55 saves. in 03. Marshall had 21 saves, and I think he also had 15 wins.
Fernando Mania, remember in '81, the year he had. Some really good pitchers on that list.
So basically, Kershaw and Newcomb have bookended the Cy Young award for the Dodgers. Newcomb won the very first ever given out, and Kershaw won the last given out to this point. And who knows, Rick, as good as he is, he'd be a pretty good bet to win it again.
Well, there's some very good pitchers, as you mentioned, in that Western Division of the National League. So, but they certainly are counting on him.
Former Dodger farmhand Carlos Santana with a swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
This is where trouble begins, is when you're down to a guy like this, because he's got a number of ways to go at it to put you away. Haven't not seen the curveball yet from Kershaw. It's been the sliders more so, and the changeups. There's the curveball.
Good eye by Santana. Carlos came to the Indians just before the trading deadline in 08 in exchange for Casey Blake. And he strikes him out. 2 down here in the first.
That's the curveball right there. You can see the variation. He's throwing mid-90s and above, and then you'll see that curveball comes in about 70 miles an hour. Look at it. That is a dandy right there. And you can see he was still out front no matter how hard you try and wait on that pitch. So it's out number 2 in the inning.
Jose Lopez. Line drive base hit into left field, coming around third. Jason Donald will score as Rivera overran the ball, and Chu able to go to third. Lopez continues his terrific spring with his 6th run batted in, and the Indians strike first, lead it 1-0.
Well, he jumps right on that first pitch, and Lopez, a good fastball hitter, pounds it into left field. So with 2 outs, Donald's going to come around. He will score easily. Rivera in left field overruns the ball, and that's going to allow Chu to go to third base. So you give a hit, an RBI, and an error on the play, and the Indians will take a 1-0 lead.
So with 2 down and runners at the corners, here's Casey Kochman. Alone away for ball 1. Kochman a solid year with Tampa last season. One and one with first and third and 2 down here in inning number 1.
This is where Kochman did a pretty good job last year in situations where you get runners in scoring position and 2 outs. He's a guy that puts the ball in play. He's not a big strikeout guy. That's the one thing the Indians are trying to improve on, is at least putting the ball in play this year, cutting down on the strikeouts.
And that'll do it. Matt Kemp puts it away. But the Indians get on the board with the 2-out RBI hit by Jose Lopez. 1-0 Cleveland after an inning.
Get to Nissan now for the offer you need on the
1-0 Cleveland as we go to the second inning. And talked about the storm that blew through yesterday. It dumped in some places up to a foot of snow in the higher elevations. That's the crazy thing, is that you can drive a couple hours and be in the snow.
No doubt. Up at Flagstaff, they had about 20 inches of snow.
For the Dodgers, Andre Ethier, Juan Rivera, Adam Kennedy. Ethier was at the plate when Matt Kemp was thrown out trying to steal to end the first inning.
Nice changeup. Nice changeup first pitch. Ethier, yeah, he had a couple of good swings off Gomez's first at bat. So with the runner getting thrown out, he gets another free at bat.
Popped him up back out of play. Ethier got off to a tremendous start last year. He had a 30-game hit streak that ended in May, one short of the franchise record. But by the time it was all said and done, his batting average for the year was just .292.
Well, he is a good hitter. Did he break a finger?
Thought he did miss some time last year. Close pitch, 2-2.
He had knee problems in the second half.
Got him looking. Ethier is rung up for out number one. First strikeout for Gomez.
Well, he throws a couple good changeups to Andre Ethier in this at bat. He started him off with a good changeup that had good movement on it. Comes back with a fastball that he fouls off. That one he wasted a pitch and went upstairs with another fastball, but puts him away with a changeup that Ethier took, thinking it was upstairs.
Juan Rivera, former Angel. We're familiar with him. Swung on and missed. Rivera was acquired at the All-Star break in 2011, just last year in a trade with Toronto. Got him to chase. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gomez.
That's a good slider. You see, this is the bonus when you get ahead of the count. That's what you talk about, expanding the strike zone. He was able to get Rivera to chase that slider off the plate. Even if he would have hit it, he wouldn't have been able to do anything with it.
Adam Kennedy takes a strike. It'll be interesting to see how Adam Kennedy fits into the mix with the Dodgers. He is fairly versatile. He can play third, he can play first. Play second. This is more of a natural position for him. Juan Uribe they signed to a pretty big deal, and he hasn't panned out. High fly ball hit pretty well to deep center. Back is Brantley. He's there to make the catch. Another good inning of work for Genmar Gomez. 2 scoreless under his belt. 1-0 Cleveland. Indians lead the Dodgers 1-0. Bottom of the second inning. Bottom third of the order. 2 up for Cleveland. Shelley Duncan, Jason Kipnis, and Russ Kanzler. Clayton Kershaw deals, and it's outside ball 1. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here in Goodyear, Arizona, joined now by Indians catcher Lou Marson down in the Indians dugout. Lou, how are you?
Good. What's going on, guys?
Another beautiful day here in the desert, a little on the chilly side.
Yeah, it's a little chilly, but there's Shelley hooking balls foul again.
I know. He loves the fastball, doesn't he?
Yeah, for sure. He gets that head out there.
Lou, solid season a year ago. You probably, I don't know, if you going into a season, you look at how much playing time you want to get, how many at-bats you'll get, but when it was all said and done, you certainly had your fair share of games behind the dish and turns at the bat. How did it all go for you in your mind when it was all said and done?
It went well. Obviously, defensively, I was where I wanted to be, but offensively, there's still some adjustments I need to make. Got to be a little more successful against right-handed pitching and go up there and have quality at bats against them. But it went well. We had a great year as a team, and looking forward to this year and moving forward.
2-strike pitch to Duncan. Ripped foul again. Boy, he is wearing out the folks down the left field line.
I'll tell you, maybe Kershaw may want to try and throw a changeup there. It's tough to throw one by Shelley. Hey, Lou, all your other teammates are here. They're in the desert visiting, but you're a Scottsdale resident, aren't you?
Yeah, I was born and raised out in Scottsdale, South Scottsdale, and have a house down there. And I love spending the winters out here. Great place. Have all my family, my friends, and great place to kind of kick back and take it easy and chill out for the off season.
Lou, you talked about making some adjustments offensively to try to firm up the offensive part of your game. What specifically can you tell us that you've been working on that you're trying to correct?
I don't swing at too many bad pitches, so I don't go out of the zone a lot. So just when I do swing it, let it eat a little bit. Swing it like I mean it and be aggressive.
Jason Kipnis wraps a single right back up the middle.
That kid can hit right there, huh?
Yes, he can.
Yeah,
he's looking forward to watching him play every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's a good player.
He hangs in there against lefties. He's going to get a fastball, and this proves, boy, he likes the #1. That's a high fastball now. It's tough to get on top of a high fastball as a left-handed hitter, but he turns it around. It's the third hit for the Tribe. Hey, Genmar's throwing the ball really well. Have you had an opportunity to catch him yet this spring?
Yeah, I caught him his last time he went out. He didn't start, but he came in. And,
yeah, he looks pretty firm, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's legit. He's having a great spring, and he's got a great sinker. And, don't be surprised if he kind of goes out and makes the team.
Well, I'm not. The way he's throwing better than anybody this spring. Now, for him, it's a matter of what? Improving his secondary pitches, like that little slider or the changeup where he can throw it when he wants to?
Absolutely. I mean, his sinker is always money. He pounds that sinker, but he's got to throw something else to get him off of it. And he's been working on a little cutter, which has been great, especially to lefties.
How about that sequence to Andre Ethier? Started him off changeup, put him away with a changeup.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a great hitter.
That was nice.
He's a good hitter, and he's working on that changeup, and it's going to be a big pitch for him this year.
We were watching Derek Lowe throw in the B game earlier today against the Chicago Cubs. Just another sinker baller in the mix.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially with the defense we have over there with whoever's at third, whether it's Hanahan, Chisenhall, and having Cabby at short, and that thick grass we have in Cleveland. I mean, you hit it in that grass there, it's a pretty good chance you're out. So, Derek Lowe, I mean, I haven't had the chance to catch him yet, but seems like he's a great guy and throws a lot of strikes, works quick, and exactly what we want.
Ball and 2 strikes to count here on Russ Kanzler.
Hey, has Manny Acton talked to you yet about what your role may be against left-handed pitchers, how much you're going to catch? Because Santana won't be playing first as much this year, I don't think, with Kochman on the team.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. He hasn't told me. Just kind of see what happens. Like last year, early in the year, I wasn't playing very much, but towards the second half, I started catching pretty much I mean, at least five days a week.
Right.
You know, but I don't know. I'm just gonna try to come out and, you know, do whatever I need to do to get in the lineup and play, because I do definitely I want to be in the lineup every day. So we'll see what happens.
Throw to first. Hey, Lou, while you're down there in the dugout, since you've got the headsets on, why don't you do a little investigative reporting for us? We notice that Ryan Spilborghs has come to the on-deck circles, so Michael Brantley making an early exit. What do you got on that?
Oh, I don't know.
He doesn't know. He's sitting at the end of the dugout.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see what happened. You know, he. I hope it's nothing with his wrist or hand like he was having bothering him last year. You know, because he's my roommate. We're pretty close, and I know how much his hand was hurting him last year, and he kept playing through it. But you know, I don't know exactly what it is. Hopefully, it's not that. But it is spring training. It's early, and if something is bothering him, he should definitely take it easy.
Here's Ryan Spilborghs getting an opportunity to jump into the ball game now.
And it might be because Kershaw's pitching.
Spilborghs with a long fly to right to end the inning. Lou, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate your time.
All right,
Best
guys.
of luck to you this year.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, after 2, it's the Indians 1 and the Dodgers nothing. Michael Brantley, an early exit today. We'll wait to hear officially what led to his early exit, and we'll let you know just as soon as we hear something. But certainly good to see him walking off with no problems. Ryan Spilborghs stays in the game in center field. And you mentioned in the open, Rick, Spilborghs a great opportunity to make this club because of his athleticism and his ability to play all 3 outfield positions, and not just a guy who, you know, can play it maybe here and there, but he could play every day in center field for a stretch.
Well, and there is nobody else, you know, that's fighting for a job. That if Brantley doesn't play center field, they really don't have one.
You know, they've got guys that maybe could go for a day.
Yeah, this guy, he'll be the legitimate one. That's why I say he would have the inside track as the extra outfielder. Plus, he's a veteran. He's been around, so that certainly helps him.
Justin Sellers leading off, looks at a ball up high. Takes a strike. Sellers, a Southern California native, made his big league debut last August.
It's got to be fun, huh? Grow up in Southern California and play for the Dodgers.
You're not kidding, boy. Low and away. He went to high school in Huntington Beach. You might have played against his dad. Jeff Sellers played for Boston from 1985 through 1988. Justin Sellers, though, had One of those kids coming out of high school, he'd already committed to Cal State Fullerton. But then the Oakland A's made him a 6th-round pick, and he signed, got his career started. High pop. Back goes Kipnis, the second baseman. 1 away. Our spring training news and notes brought to you by Taco Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good. The Indians making some cuts yesterday, sending Ezekiel Carrera, Juan Diaz, Corey Kluber to AAA Columbus. And now 49 players still in Major League camp.
32 of the 49 are on the 40-man. There's 17 invitees still here in camp. So that'll you can wrap that up quickly. But, you know, with 2 weeks to go, I would think in another week. Next week at this time, they'll be down pretty close to about 30 guys, I would think.
Gomez with a strike to Matt Trainer. You know, it's interesting, Rick. You look at where the Dodgers are right now in terms of the catching spot on their team. At one time, they had Russell Martin, who was going to be the standard there for years to come, which is why they traded Carlos Santana to the Indians. And now they're searching for somebody to take over that spot behind the plate.
Yeah, Matt Trainer, he was with Texas, Kansas City, back with Texas, out here now in L.A. It's funny. You think you have an abundance at one position, and next thing you know, you're looking for people.
Big chopper to short. Donald waits back on it from the outfield grass. Pulled him off the bag. So the throwing error.
Well, I think they give him a base hit, but that's a spring training base hit. That's a play you got to make it short. I mean, he backs up on the ball, which is fine, but you have to make a good throw. The ball coming back. Now it's just a matter of a good, accurate throw, and he pulled Kochman way off the bag. That wasn't close.
Second error for the Indians today. 1 on 1 out for Clayton Kershaw. He squares, bunts it out in front of the plate. Santana will go to first. 2 down. Tying run moves into scoring position.
You know, it's funny when they can use the DH here, they allow Kershaw to hit. So obviously Don Mattingly feels I want to get my pitcher ready for situations just like that. You know, there's 1 out, man on first base. Let's bunt him into scoring position. Job well done.
I was watching a game yesterday. I think it was the Dodgers and the Angels, and Mike Scioscia's pitchers were under the same orders that Manny Acta's pitchers are.
Swing.
Not allowed to swing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I can't believe it. In spring training out here, depending on where you play, whatever field you play at, if you're in a National League Park, then the pitchers can hit. They dictate. They can allow you to let your DHs hit, but they always go with their pitchers. So it's sort of goofy.
Very much so.
I mean, who cares? It's spring training. Nothing else counts. Why not let your DH, let the American League team get their DH?
What good is it to have a pitcher go up there and stare at 3 pitches?
Well, it doesn't. But then again, I hate watching the pitcher stare. Let the guy swing the bat, for goodness sake. They're going to have to do it anyway eventually.
But he's afraid to have an injury in spring training.
Yes. They're going to have to hit in interleague play. You know, you're going to have to bunt the ball, and injuries happen. But at least, don't get me going, will you, please?
I didn't bring it up, or did I?
Yes, you did. You said you were watching the Angels, and Scioscia does the same thing that Manny Acta does. Don't swing the bat.
2-0 pitch.
Go up there for what do they call it? What kind of practice?
Tracking.
Tracking practice. Yeah, let's track.
Well, you wonder too if the situation with A.J. Burnett in Pittsburgh, if that had any more bearing on decision making. I mean, he fractured his orbital bone trying to bunt, in drills, bunting drills.
Well, we witnessed that throughout the years. Guys hurt their fingers trying to bunt the ball. Jarrett Wright.
Meanwhile, Jenmar Gomez with a walk to Jerry Hairston. 2 on, 2 out, and James Loney to the plate. This is one area where the Dodgers are hoping that James Loney will improve on this year, and that's hitting in the clutch. A little bit low, ball one.
Starts him off with another good changeup. Let's see if it's low. Maybe just a tad.
Gomez deals. Loney lines it toward left, slicing foul. Two on, two out. Weak ground ball hit to short. Donald steps on the bag to end the inning. Dodgers strand a pair. Middle of the third. It's Cleveland 1, Los Angeles nothing. Back here in Goodyear, the Indians with a 1-0 lead, bottom of the third.
That's the clip.
For the Indians, Jason Donald, Shin Soo Choo, and Carlos Santana due up against Clayton Kershaw. Let's go down to the Indians dugout once again, joined by Indians pitcher Josh Tomlin. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing good, guys. Thanks for having me.
What's going on, buddy? You're the only one with no sunglasses on.
I know. I don't think I own a pair.
You don't?
I don't.
I just like to squint.
Smokes. You're used to it, man, from Texas.
I am.
It's that old cowboy Clint Eastwood squint look, you know?
That's right, at all times.
Let's go back to last year for a moment as Donald fouls it off. 37 straight starts, at least 5 innings or more. Modern major league record. I mean, when you had a chance to sit down and digest that in the offseason, what's a record like that mean to you?
I mean, it's nice to have. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like that's what starters are paid to do, is go out there and log innings and get as many innings as you possibly can. And I feel like I was just trying to do my job.
Is it something though you can build on as far as, hey, you know, I've proven that I can go out there, I can take the ball, I'm not going to give up big innings, I'm going to keep my team in the game. But what's the next step from that, Josh?
I think for me it's just staying consistent within that. You know, not trying to go out there and think, okay, I'm going to try to go, you know, at least 5 innings right now. It's trying to get as deep as you can in the game and try to do everything you can to keep your team in the ball game. You know, if you go 5 innings and you give up, you know, 10 runs, that's not keeping your team in the ball game. So for me, it's just trying to keep the team in the ball game for as long as I can and hand over the bullpen with a, you know, hopefully with a lead.
Well, how do you feel this spring? Because people are now going to start panicking because you had 2 outings where you give up some runs. and they're going to say, hey, what's wrong with these guys? You know, they're giving up too many runs, and they want you at midseason form. How you
Right.
feeling this spring?
I mean, I feel good. I'm healthy, and that's the biggest thing for me coming in here was not having any kind of setback whatsoever. And for right now, my elbow feels great, and you know, I know the numbers don't look all that great, but you know, I feel like I'm pretty close to being, you know, where I want to be, and that's all I can ask for right now.
Obviously, spring training games are not anywhere near regular season games in terms of intensity. But what about just approach and plan of attack when you go out there during the regular season? You're looking at that lineup, you're studying how to approach these guys. What's it like though, Josh, when you take the ball and go out there for a spring training start?
I mean, some of the guys you're facing, you don't have video on, or you don't have any kind of track record with them. So it's just going out there and trying to do what you can do. For me, it's just going out there, filling out the zone with 4 pitches, and not necessarily trying to be perfect right now with 4 pitches, but trying to throw 4 pitches in the zone for a strike. Whether that's contact, whether that's foul ball, whether that's a ball in play or whatnot. But for me, it's just trying to go out there with 4 pitches and try to throw them in the zone. And, not necessarily, based on results, but, definitely everybody's going out there trying to compete, trying to get outs. And,
right.
And I'm one of them. I'm trying to get outs every single time I go out there. But sometimes, you might throw a pitch in a certain situation that's not what you would do in the regular season, but you're still trying to execute that pitch and get a guy out.
Well, it's all a matter of locating for you.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
well, actually for every pitcher when you think about it. But when I like what you say 4 parts of the strike zone. Up and in, low and in, up and away, low and away. And you're one of the guys that can locate the 4 different spots and have to. So, I mean, it's just a matter of being ready when you get ready to toe that rubber for your first start this year when it counts.
Right, exactly. And that's something that, I've come to understand. My mistakes probably get hit more than a guy that's throwing 95, 96. It's going to get hit more than those guys, definitely. So, that's what I'm trying to do right now, trying to fine-tune everything and trying to get to that spot to where I can throw those 4 pitches, where I want to on both sides of the plate. Like you said, up and in, low and away, up and away in certain situations.
Manny Acta made the comment after yesterday's game that they continually to talk to the pitchers that 90% of first pitch strikes that are swung at result in outs.
Right.
And you're a guy who, last year you were pounding the strike zone. You always seemed to be ahead in the count. Is that something that's vital to you when you're facing hitters?
I think so. I think a hitter's got to be in my count, especially with the stuff that I have. I'm not an overpowering guy by no means. So even if I get a guy 0-2, it's not like I have a 96-mile fastball that can put a guy away with. It's something that I've got to, set a guy up to where, whenever I do get in that situation, I can get a bad swing or a bad contact and try to get a guy out.
Josh, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate your time. Best of luck to you this year.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
That's Josh Tomlin. We're through 3. Cleveland 1, Los Angeles 0. Nothing Cleveland, 4th inning. Well pitched game on both sides so far. Jamar Gomez has allowed 3 hitters to reach, 2 by error, 1 by walk. He has struck out a pair. And Clayton Kershaw gave up a couple of hits in the first, 1 in the second. He has also walked 1 and struck out 3. Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, and Juan Rivera do for the Dodgers. Well, one thing's for sure, Rick. Whoever ends up buying the Dodgers, they've got a couple of key components already in place, and that's Matt Kemp, who signed a long-term contract, 8-year, $160 million deal in November, and then Clayton Kershaw, he's under control for I think 3 more seasons after this because he's still such a young kid.
Yeah.
So whoever comes in and buys his team, and from what we understand, that should take place at some point in the next couple of months. They expect to have a new owner in place, if not by the end of April, then it's sometime by May. And that will certainly quiet things down and allow them to get back to doing business as usual.
Well, I think it distracted them all last year when you think about it. It was the first time they didn't draw 3 million people there in a long time. But they've got, I think, still 4 teams in the running to buy the Dodgers. So
4 groups of people.
4 different groups, right.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. The Dodgers can tout Kemp and Kershaw all they want. The fact of the matter is the Angels stole their thunder when they signed Albert Pujols. Swung on and missed, and Gomez blows it by him. Good pop on the fastball. 3rd strikeout for Genmar Gomez. 1 down here in the 4th.
Well, it's a 4-seam fastball. I don't know if he was looking for something off speed, but he runs the fastball by him and gets the strikeout. Genmar is he's throwing the ball very well this spring. He really is.
Andre Ethier out on strikes his first time up.
The Dodgers are a team that really played well in the month of September. You know, they started to pick everything back up, and maybe it looked like they put it behind them. Maybe the end was in sight.
Well, they needed a strong finish, and they won 9 of their last 12. And what that enabled them to do was avoid having back-to-back losing seasons for the first time since 1986 and 87. They finished with 82 wins a season ago. And just 3 years ago, they had a 95-win team. Bullpen will be a big question mark for the Dodgers this year. Gomez with the 2-1 pitch. Ripped to left center. Over is Kanzler. The left fielder dives, can't make the play. Spilborghs backs it up. His throw coming in, but not before Ethier glides into 3rd with a triple.
Well, that was not a very good route run by Russ Kanzler. That's a ball you would look at, and I'll tell you what, it had a lot of hang time, and that wind is blowing from the 3rd baseline out to right center field. So he's running over to catch it. He just never could get there. And by the time he slides, now granted, it is tough to see here, although I think it's a little easier today with the clouds up in the sky. You have a little background. The sun's not as bright, but that'll go as a triple, but a ball that, in my opinion, should have been caught.
1 on 1 out for Juan Rivera in a 1-run game here in the 4th. Rivera struck out his first time up. Sky high pop.
Oh, he's got a chance now to get out of it.
Lopez in foul ground, straddling the line, makes the catch in fair territory for out number 2.
Well, this Saturday you may want to come down to Progressive Field. That's the 24th of March, an Indian season ticket select a seat event will take place. Opening day is sold out, but you can still be there with the purchase of a season ticket package. So stop by Progressive Field this Saturday between 10 and 2, or you can call 216-420-HITS or log on to Indians.com and secure your seats.
Swing and a miss by Adam Kennedy. He flied to right his first time up. little bit low, 1-1. Back out of play. The hit by Ethier, even though, as Rick pointed out, a ball he believes should have been caught. The first hit of the game given up by Gomez. Kanzler squeezes that one, and the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. It remains the Indians 1 and the Dodgers nothing. Here in Goodyear, Arizona. And for the Indians, Jose Lopez, Casey Kochman, and Shelley Duncan all due up. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning here calling the action for you. And now joined down in the Indians dugout by Chris Perez. Chris, how are you?
Doing well. You guys did pretty well. It's my first game. You guys found me, so.
We've been looking for you all spring. You haven't been anywhere.
Oh, trust me, I've been trying to get out here. They finally let the bars off of my cage today.
Well,
it's about time.
The first day I got here to Goodyear, Arizona, was the day they made the announcement that you had the strained oblique. Or
so it's your fault. It's your fault.
Well, yes, it is.
I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Right off the plane, and boom, we're right into hard news. Here we go. Let's get it on the air. The report back home. But I talked to you that day, and you felt like, hey. The good thing is I don't need 6 weeks to get ready for opening day. I just need 6 appearances maybe by the end of spring training. How are you feeling? Are you on track? Do you feel like you'll be there on opening day?
I do. I feel great. I threw a bullpen session yesterday. I threw all my pitches, really finished it out, and kind of made it a game situation. Threw 100%. Didn't have any problems. Bounced back good today. Played catch again today. So I'm right on pace. I think the program now is for me to get into a simulated BP session here on Wednesday, and then hopefully take them out on Friday in a minor league game.
All right, you take them out, so that'll give you what, about 5 appearances here?
Yeah, we have right now on the calendar we have 6 appearances. So
okay,
I'm going to be doing fast and furious. Every other day I'm going to be out there on the mound getting my work.
Not too fast, man. Remember, it's still March, bro.
It's still March, but it's starting to get that time. I need to start getting going, getting in gear.
You got to learn to cut it back from day one.
I do.
That first one, it was all out, bro.
No, it's a blessing. It's my blessing and my curse. I go 100% all the time, and that's how I feel I can get the best work in a bullpen session environment. And maybe I'm going to have to make an adjustment to that and really just try to work on my stuff and get ready for the season and wait for the 100% to start for the season.
There you go. Hopefully you learned something there.
I did.
Well, knowing your personality, how hard has it been for you to really be under the reins of the trainers and to have them watching your every move?
I hate it. Honestly, Manny told me the best way to get out of there is to get healthy. You don't have to, you never have to deal with them again, and that's good advice. But at the same time, it's a process, and in this kind of injury, it's more annoying. This time, in this stage, early on, it's you're trying to get some of that pain out of there and manage that. But now you feel good, and you want to go do everything 100% and go do PFPs and go be with your teammates, but they have to, bring you back in and make sure you're not going to injure yourself again.
Well, I know it kills you because you're a guy and a closer. You're out there from pitch number 1 of the ball game. You don't mess around in the clubhouse. You're with those boys from pitch 1, so you got to miss that.
I am, yeah. It's been tough this last 4 weeks, not being with my guys, not seeing how the team's doing, because all I can do is really, read the box scores and read what the media is printing. But to be back out,
you don't want to read that.
You don't want to read that, right? Especially early in the year when nothing really matters. They're trying to make stories out of stuff that doesn't really matter. But to be back out here in the game setting, see some baseball, see my teammates, see my pitchers throw, it's definitely where I want to be.
Well, and I just wonder how the bullpen mafia has gotten along. This is like when they put John Gotti in prison. Then you're out of the mix right now.
I am. I'm kind of out of the loop. Somebody else has been making all the decisions, but we're starting to get here the last 2 weeks of camp, where the team starts getting pared down a little bit. You start seeing who the 25 guys might be, and that's when the team really starts coming together.
Well, there are 2 spots open in the bullpen, and from. You haven't been around enough to see it to really give your opinion on what you think might happen to this point?
I haven't, but, like I said, I've been talking to the guys after their outings and stuff. And, Frank Herman had a really tough outing this first time, but his last 3 or 4 he's been throwing really well. And I think he's kind of solidified a spot. And that last spot's up to grabs. And it's going to be a fun 2 weeks, a lot of competition. We still have a lot of spots that are up for grabs, and nobody's really taking it over.
Out number 2 is Rivera squeezes that high fly ball off the bat of Shelley Duncan. And with 2 down, Jason Kipnis is coming to the plate.
You guys have been seeing more of the team than I have. How are we looking?
It's been hit and miss. You got a couple of starters. We got to get Jimenez back on track. We just talked to Josh Tomlin. He said he's getting ready and getting the feel. I mean, the results. Sometimes I think a lot of people look into results too much when it comes to spring training.
I agree. I think, the last first start or the last 2 starts, I think, are kind of indicative of how they want to finish the spring training up and go into the season. Other than that, guys are working on different stuff. This is our time to work on stuff. And you might be throwing different pitches that you won't normally throw during the regular season, or you might be showing the hitter something different that they won't see, just trying to keep that ace in the sleeve.
We understand it. I understand it. The players understand it. But tell those fans when you keep seeing an L next to a game, it's hard to tell those people, hey, don't worry, we'll be ready when the bell rings. And that's true. That truly is what counts.
It is what counts. And, it's also good, too, from the fans, though, putting that pressure on us. They want to see a winner, and that's great. I mean, the last thing you want to do is just kind of go through the motions. We do have a purpose out here, getting ready for the season, and hopefully we're hoping an AL Central Division season. So, you have to put the framework down here in spring training. You can't just flip the switch during the regular season.
Well, I remember it was just a couple of years ago. Might have been Manny's first year as manager. I think we had one of the best records in the Cactus League that year, and it didn't translate to anything.
No, wins and losses, it doesn't matter here. About the last week, you start getting it geared up for the season, boy. Because how many times you go from that first game, you won't even talk once about spring training.
Exactly. After you leave spring training, you forget about it.
That's right.
Chris, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Best of luck to you, and hope to see you on the hill opening day, closing out a victory. By Taco Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good. 1-0 Cleveland, 5th inning here in Goodyear. Joe Smith coming on now for the Indians. Genmar Gomez, 4 more shutout innings. He just continues to make his case to be the Indians' 5th starter in the rotation.
Yeah, he did. He had 4 innings. He allowed just the 1 hit, and that really probably should have been an out. At least I feel that way. But Gomez, I'll tell you what, again, he threw the ball very well. He had very good changeups, some sliders. There's a little breaking ball there for an easy out. Had that changeup or a strikeout on Andre Ethier. Got the slider after he's ahead in the count to Rivera. He blows Kemp away. So another good performance by Genmar Gomez. Man, he's got to be pleased.
And Genmar getting a little sprint work in to finish his day.
Now, Kevin Slowey is in the mix of this number 5 hole. He will be pitching on Wednesday. So if you want to tune in, that's our last televised game out here. That you can look at that and see what you think.
And then after our last televised game on Wednesday, you can tune to Sports Time Ohio the final week of March, as we'll have another installment of Spring Training Daily, Monday through Friday, that last week of March. And we'll have all the lowdown and interviews and highlights each and every day on what's going on, who will make the club, who will make those final spots.
I'm going to turn it over to your hands. You'll be capable. You'll fill them in every day, won't you?
You've got to pack up and get ready to move back to Cleveland.
Yes, I do.
Got a lot to do.
That'll start on Thursday, right? After our last telecast here on Wednesday?
No, it'll start Monday.
Okay.
A week from today.
Well, I'm tuning in on Thursday waiting for you, bro.
You'll be waiting a while.
I usually do.
Oh, Matt Trainer reached on an error his first time up.
See if they start a runner here. Right-handed, tough pitcher, ground ball, sinker baller, stay out of the double play. Spring training, it's a 1-run ball game. Kershaw's on deck. You know he's going to stay in there, so you want to try and at least get him a run.
Nobody warming in the Dodger bullpen. Runner holds, and it's fouled back toward Kershaw. So it looks like Kershaw will indeed pitch that 5th inning.
He goes out on deck. He's getting his work in. He hasn't reached his pitch count yet. So
he's been as good as advertised for the most part here today. We've seen why he is so.
You know, the first 2 innings here, he was just a little bit off with his control. He was missing with his fastball, not by much. And then he dialed it in. But like so many good starters, if you don't get him early, you may never get him the rest of the day.
That 2-strike breaking ball he threw to Carlos Santana to get a key strikeout in that first inning was like.
That's the curveball. You can see how he had 248 strikeouts last year.
Nice for Don Mattingly to have an ace like that to send out there every 5 days. The rest of their staff, well, Chad Billingsley's a guy they think can be a very good starter. Ted Lilly, we all know Ted Lilly's a guy who can eat up a lot of innings. Left-hander, very crafty. And then they signed Aaron Harang, who
was
we remember with Cincinnati and San Diego, both who can eat up innings. And also Chris Capuano.
He's you know, the cunny thumber, the guy that just goes out there and nothing overpowering, but knows how to pitch.
And as I mentioned before, their bullpen, and we can talk more about that as we see some relief pitchers come into the game for the Dodgers, but that will be a huge question mark for LA. Meanwhile, Joe Smith with a 1 on, nobody out, 2-2 count. Very close, did not get the call. And Trainer stays alive.
Tried to go inside the front door with that slider that wraps around the plate. Looks good. Santana's holding it, but it was inside. Got it.
Had him lean and got him.
You know, and the funny thing is, I don't think he was going anywhere. I don't think he was trying to steal that base, was he? If he is at 3-2, you have to make. Yes, he was. He flinched, but you have to make sure the pitcher goes home before you take off. And he knows it better than anybody. And I'm sure his first base coach, Davey Lopes, who is one of the better base running coaches in the game, make sure he goes to the plate before you take off. He didn't. He gets picked off.
And then the walk to Trainer. And Davey swiped a few bags in his day.
Oh, yeah. He's as solid as they come. Well, we told you about the season tickets that are on sale. Even though opening day is sold out, if you buy a season ticket package, you're still available to get into the opening day and the best seats at the best prices available. So you don't want to miss out on a minute of the action. Call 216-420-HITS. Speak with a season ticket rep or log on to Indians.com.
Bunted back toward the mound. Smith looks to second, takes the out, 2 down. Tying run in the scoring position here in the 5th. Kershaw twice today.
Yeah, second straight sacrifice. Boy, the way that guy throws, if you can bunt, you stay in the game. Your manager's going to keep you in forever.
Jerry Hairston flied to right in the first, walked his last time up. Caught the outside corner for a strike. Hairston getting the start at shortstop today. The Dodgers figure to have D. Gordon opening the season at shortstop. An athletic player, great speed. But Hairston's a guy who can play some infield, play some outfield as well.
Yeah, he did a nice job for Milwaukee last year. Veteran, he plays the game well.
With 2 down, the 2-1, foul out of play. Now Smith ready, and the 2-2. Right back by him. Kipnis fires to first to end the inning. We're halfway home in Goodyear. It's the Indians 1 and the Dodgers nothing. Indians 1, Dodgers nothing. Bottom of the 5th here in Goodyear. Russ Kanzler, Ryan Spilborghs, Jason Donald due up for the Indians, and it would appear to be Clayton Kershaw's final inning of work as he starts this 5th. He's allowed a run on 3 hits. He has walked 2 and struck out 4. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, joined this half inning by Indians pitcher Nick Hagedorn down in the Indians dugout. Nick, welcome in. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Obviously, last year was a big deal for you to get that first taste of big league baseball, to get to the show. What was the experience like for you? What did you take away from it when the season was over?
Well, I mean, the month that I was up was an unbelievable experience, and I think the biggest thing for me was just, getting my feet wet at the big league level and kind of, seeing that I can compete up there and just getting more and more comfortable with my surroundings.
And once you realize and have the confidence in throwing strikes, then it's going to be no different than Double-A, is it?
Exactly. Once you can get to that point where it's just like any other game, that's when it really helps you out.
Kanzler with a strikeout, going to bring up Ryan Spilborghs, who flied to right his first time up. We started the year last year at Double-A Akron and really blew away the competition. Continued to have success there at Columbus. Nick, when you look at trying to make this club or where your spot would be, should you make the team, where do you see yourself fitting in to this current Indians bullpen?
I just hope that I can contribute anywhere that possible. They had a great year last year, and they've had a really good group for the last few years. So being able to be a part of that would be great, and I hope that I can do that.
You know what? I agree with you, Nick. Anywhere on the 1 through 12 list of the major league pitchers is fine because that's big league meal money and that's big league pay. So
exactly,
you just want to be there, baby. I don't blame you.
Spilborghs grounds to short, 2 down. That's going to bring up Jason Donald. Nick, you were a starter all the way up until I guess midway through that 2010 season. How was the transition for you, going from starter and then transitioning to the bullpen?
For me, it was pretty easy because I feel like I've always had the mentality of a reliever. Even when I was starting, I'd go out in the first inning and it'd be max effort. There was no working into the ball game or pacing myself for the later innings. So that kind of made it a little bit of an easier transition.
Is command, though, the one maybe last part of your game that you have to master to become an effective major league reliever now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, command for me has been something that I've been working on for my whole life, really, and it's always something that I'm working to be more consistent with and to always get better at.
So as a reliever,
last year, he's got great swing on that stuff.
No question about it. A strikeout kind of guy where you love to have in the bullpen. And I mean, you'll feel more comfortable. Right now, you're probably saying, I've got to command my fastball, but you got a good breaking ball you can get hitters with, get out with. And, once you can get those 2 pitches and you feel comfortable, I'm sure you're going to have a good time up here.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime you can consistently work ahead of the hitters, it makes it a lot easier on you.
And you're also, a bit of a rarity that we talk about it all the time. When you see left-handers out of the bullpen, very rarely are they power lefties.
Yeah, mid-90s, right.
Is there anybody that you've ever, been able to talk to or, pattern yourself after, or anything to that effect?
Not really. I don't really have anyone that I try to model myself after. But I mean, I like the guys that throw hard are the ones that were fun for me to watch growing up and even now.
Watch when we play the White Sox, Matt Thornton out of their bullpen. He's a big guy and he's a left-hander. He throws a lot of fastballs, and you remind me a little bit like him.
Yeah, I've watched him a little bit. He was in Seattle at the start of his career, and that's where I'm from. So I definitely keep my eye on him and like to watch whenever he gets to throw.
Hey, Nick, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate your time. Best of luck to you this year.
Thank you, guys.
That's Nick Hagedorn, Indians pitcher. We're through 5, 1-0 Cleveland. Brought to you by Taco Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good. Sixth inning, 1-0 Cleveland. Cool and cloudy today here in Goodyear. Game time temperature right around 53 degrees. Light breeze blowing out towards center field this afternoon. Coming on now for the Indians is Vinny Pistano. And last year, a tremendous campaign. A win, 2 losses, but an ERA of just .232 in 67 appearances. And he pitched 62 innings with 84 strikeouts.
Well, you know what? This is a good inning for him because he's going to come up and face Loney, Kemp, and Ethier, the scheduled hitters. So he's going through the heart of their lineup in his inning of work. And that's why managers in spring training a lot of times to this effect earlier in the year or the spring, they will bring in their closers or their setup guys earlier so they do face better hitters, you know, that are still in the ball game and they're not taken out.
James Loney 0 for 2 on the day. Twice a ground ball out. Outside for ball 1. Wide of the mark, 2 balls, no strikes. Something that Pistano talked to us about earlier this spring, and that is trying to improve against the left-handers.
Well, that's what I was thinking going through my mind, him talking about how he has to improve on facing left-handers. But when you come out and he wants to work on that, maybe that backdoor breaking ball a little bit more, you got to start the count. You've got to get ahead of him. He's falling behind 3-0.
Walked him on 4 straight. Leadoff man aboard for the Dodgers. Well, if you joined us late in the first inning with 2 down, Jose Lopez on the first pitch he saw from Clayton Kershaw lined a single to left, scoring Jason Donald. That's the only run so far, thanks to Jenmar Gomez, who went out and threw 4 more shutout innings, allowing just 1 hit, striking out 3.
Yeah, of his 11 innings this spring, he's only allowed 4 hits.
Now Matt Kemp 0 for 2. Finds the strike zone.
You know, for Gomez, who's normally a starter, today was his first start. Every other time he's been in a ball game, he's come out of the bullpen.
That's right.
Pitch. So that's why I think Manny was a little surprised, because the kid normally a starter, but he took to the coming out of the bullpen very well.
Ground ball hit to second. Kipnis goes there for 1. Donald's return throw not in time. But they erase Loney for out number 1. Sounded, Rick, and I'm not sure, but he might have broke his bat and it just didn't get there quick enough.
That's exactly right. And that's a tough turn when he's in the hole. Watch how far he is from second base. Kipnis has got to go to his left by the time he can get that ball over to Donald. Still bang at first base. But you see, he beats it out. But you're right. It was off the end of the bat, and I think it did crack his bat.
So Kemp, who was thrown out trying to steal to end the first inning, is at first, and Andre Ethier takes a strike. Now, Ethier lifted a fly ball to left center field his last time up. Kanzler made a running attempt. Couldn't come up with it. It was ruled a triple. The only hit given up by Gomez. But it did appear that Kanzler had an opportunity to make the catch, just couldn't corral it. That's a little bit low. popped up foul and into the seats. Pistano ready, the 2-2. A little bit outside, says home plate umpire Tony Randazzo. And now a full count. Juan Rivera waiting next. We'll see if Kemp takes off on the 3-2 pitch.
He will.
He does. And it's fouled out of play by Ethier.
Yeah, 1-0 game, 3-2 count. A guy that stole 40 bags last year. You start the runner left to you, one of your best left-handed hitters up. Hope he puts it in play, finds a hole, and he can score from first.
Again, it's fouled back. And it remains a 3-2 count. One run, 3 hits, 2 errors for the Indians. No runs, 2 hits, 2 errors for the Dodgers. Kemp had him leaning, but the throw over a little bit low. Casey Kochman is really going to be a lot of fun to watch defensively at first base this year. Very slick with the glove. Runner goes. 3-2 hit high in the air to shallow right. Chu coming in hard. He's there. Makes the grab. And Kemp has to hold at first, 2 down. Sports Time Ohio is your home for the High School Athletic Association. And Saturday, the Boys High School Basketball Championships. All 4 divisional title games live and in high definition. Who will be crowned champion? Find out Saturday morning. It all starts at 10:30. High school's version of March Madness coming to a conclusion this weekend on Sports Time Ohio. 2 down. Kemp at first. Juan Rivera at the plate, 0 for 2 on the day. Straighten him up with a good fastball inside, but it's 2-0 now. High pop. Should get him out of the inning. Kochman makes the grab. A scoreless 6th for Vinny Pistano. It remains 1-0 Cleveland. the 6th here in Goodyear, and they're sending kisses back
That's
home.
to you, Matty. That was right for you. Had your name all over it.
Here's Corey Sullivan taking over in right field for Andre Ethier. Clayton Kershaw back out for a 6th inning of work. There is a reliever in the Dodger bullpen getting loose as Shin-Soo Choo sends the first pitch back out of play. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here in Goodyear, joined now by Jason Beret down in the Indians dugout. JB, how's things going?
Good. How's it going, guys?
Terrific. Now, you're a former pitcher. Obviously, a guy like Clayton Kershaw comes to town and won't get a chance to see him that often, but the reigning Cy Young Award winner. What do you like from this guy?
Pretty impressive. Obviously a good fastball. Noticeably can field his position real well also.
Chu with a bouncer to first. Loney makes the play, 1 down, and that'll bring up Carlos Santana. So obviously you've done a lot of work with the Indians pitchers down here in camp, and we're getting to that point where you want to start seeing guys kind of maybe turn up the heat, turn up the intensity a little bit. Some guys are doing that, but some other guys have not been doing that. What have you seen so far? What encourages you about the upcoming campaign?
Well, definitely you're right. Now with definitely for these starters is, they're probably going to get 2, maybe 3 more turns down here in spring training. So, the beginning of spring, it's more getting your work in, getting into playing shape, so to speak. You've been throwing all off season, but this is the time now where you're starting to get everything in order, mainly your off-speed stuff and really attacking hitters as opposed to just being out there and getting your work in.
Well, I'll tell you what, Genmar Gomez has been attacking hitters all spring. He looked very good again this afternoon.
Yeah, he looked great. He's been pitching well all spring. Today it looked like he had a little bit more on his fastball. Slider was good. Changeup was real good today.
He started off Ethier a couple of times with that changeup. He started them off with one and put them away with one. He was pretty impressive today.
Yeah, he threw great today. He's certainly not hurting his chances by any means.
Jason, is it difficult for the guys who are making the ultimate evaluations on who makes the club, who goes to AAA, who doesn't make the team? When you're looking at, when you're talking about pitching in Arizona, we've heard it from so many people. You're a former pitcher. A little tougher to throw the breaking ball down here. Ball flies. A little tougher for outfielders to track sometimes. You can't just take what happens here in spring, but obviously there's a lot of weight put on what happens this month as well.
Yeah, there definitely is. Arizona is a little bit different. For some ground ball pitchers, the infield being real hard. It's kind of the sun just bakes it every day down here, so the ground balls get through the holes a little easier, and obviously fly balls travel a little further. But I don't think you can really, when you're weighing out your decisions, you don't really base it off any one outing. But definitely spring training does count, especially for these few positions that are left.
Carlos Santana, 0 for 2 on the day, will step in.
Rumor has it you worked one game up here with Rosie up in the radio booth, and you signed a 3-year radio deal with him.
Not the case.
Oh, Carlos Santana sends one way out of here. Javi Guerra greeted with a blast by Santana, and it's 2-0 Cleveland.
Yeah, we were just telling you the ball carries a little bit out here, but that would have been out of anywhere.
Yeah, that would have counted in Florida as well.
Yeah, exactly. He was waiting for his pitch fastball, and he got it. And I'll tell you one thing, he did not miss it. He got every bit of it.
His second home run of the spring.
And you're going to see a fastball right there. Belt high, middle of the plate, and he drives it. Oh, the Indians will take a 2-0 lead.
And Jose Lopez 1 for 2. He had a 2-out RBI single in the first, and he takes a strike. Jerry Sands has taken over for James Loney at first base after the pitching change. Lopez with a bouncer to third, and Adam Kennedy will throw him out 2 down. We're visiting with Jason Beret, special assistant in the Indians front office, and you do a little bit of everything during the year, but primarily a lot of traveling around and watching the Indians' young pitchers in the system. Jason, are there some guys down below that maybe we haven't heard a lot about that you're excited about as far as going forward?
Yeah, there were a couple guys in camp with us early. Austin Adams was hurt predominantly when he was here in camp, as well as Sturdivant. Those are two arms that I saw last year that were kind of impressive, and got to take a look at Cody Allen, who's in the lower levels. But yeah, we've done a good job of getting some arms in here, and there's some good pitching in the system.
Casey Kochman will walk his last time up. Base is empty and 2 down. Javi Guerra with a 1-1. And a chopper back over the mound. Fielded by the shortstop at the throw into the Indians dugout just past Jason Bray. You could have reached out and grabbed that.
That was close.
That was a tough play all the way around. It just gets over the glove of the pitcher, and when
like he threw a palm ball.
Well, he did. He couldn't help it. Watch it, just out of the reach there. And then Hairston comes in, and the second baseman knocks him off balance, and that's what makes the throw go a little wide past JB in the dugout. Watch him. Sort of got in his way, and he hampered the throw, so that'll go as an infield single. And then an error on the throw.
Going to bring up Shelly Duncan. 0 for 2 on the day. Casey Kochman's day is over. Bo Mills making an appearance here today will pinch run. And a pitch up high to Shelly Duncan, who struck out in the second, fly to left, back in the fourth. JB, you've been around a long time, and you see a guy like Derek Lowe come into camp, the veteran with the presence that he has. He's seemed like he's fit in like he's been here his whole career. What do you like about him?
Well, he definitely has a good personality. I think it'll definitely help. Not that the other guys in the rotation didn't have a personality, but to have someone like that on the staff that kind of keeps things loose, but when he goes out and pitches, it's all business.
And it's once every 5 days. He doesn't miss starts. That guy goes out there and will log some innings for you.
Yeah, he sure has up to this point, and you know we're fully expecting that this year as well.
Now the set and the 1-1. Check to swing. Fans are obviously nervous about Ubaldo Jimenez. Last time out didn't pitch well, and even Manny Acta said after the game, he said, hey, I told him it's time to kick it in gear and bring the intensity up and get locked in. With Jimenez, is it all a matter of mechanics, Jason, or is there more to it than just simply getting his mechanics straightened out?
Well, I think it's you know, mechanically he has a few different things that are going on, but you know, that's how he's always pitched, and he's succeeded doing it that way. So I think personally, just watching it, it's a little bit more of I don't want to use the word urgency, but maybe just a little more intensity. So I'm sure we'll see that, like we discussed earlier. You know, with about 2 weeks to go, this is the time to start really treating it, you know, like in-season games.
Duncan takes low, ball 4. Yeah, it's like Rick was talking to Chris Perez earlier, who had the little problem with his oblique in his first bullpen session this year. You don't want to leave it all hanging out there in your first appearance of the spring. You want to kind of build up toward that.
Right, definitely. And the bullpen guys are a little bit more of kind of adrenaline junkies. You know, that's kind of the way that they pitch, which we like. You know, with the starters, like we talked about earlier, it's more, you know, in the beginning of spring, kind of getting your work in, so to speak, getting your pitches in order. But definitely with about 2 weeks to go, it's time to start attacking hitters with the stuff.
Yeah, Chris Perez came off the plane in max effort. I mean, he's got to lighten it up a little.
Just a little.
It's 2 on, 2 out. 1-0 pitch. Swing
nice
and a miss.
changeup.
Now, Javi Guerra is a guy the Dodgers are counting on because Jonathan Broxton is gone. He's now in Kansas City.
Right.
He's going to be setting up for Joakim Soria. And so Javi Guerra sliding into that role as the back end guy. Right-hander sets. Kipnis fouls it back out of play. So when the team breaks camp, what happens to you, Jason? Where do you go first?
Well, I'll go home north of Boston, and then I'll start heading out on some trips, go see some of our minor league clubs. Last year I saw just Columbus and Akron. I guess that'll probably be the same schedule for me this year, and then come in and out of Cleveland a few times over the summer as well.
Yeah, try and match homestands with homestands, right? With Columbus, where you can catch, you get a game in Columbus and also get to see the Indians as well.
Yeah, it makes the most sense. It's what I try to do when I look at the schedule, see if I can't piggyback, get in a little earlier, and go see a game or two in Cleveland, and then drive over to Akron.
Well, you didn't play all that long ago, but man, the minor league facilities compared to then and now are night and day, isn't it?
Yeah, we were talking about it today in the B game. Ex-teammate of mine, Jeff Faceros, who's with the Cubs, we were talking about how the minor leagues were back in the day. It wasn't that long ago, but it does seem like quite a few years ago.
It goes by in a hurry, doesn't it?
Definitely. It seems like a small window when you're done playing. It seems like
you blinked and it was over, huh?
Exactly.
Well, when was your first year pitching in the big leagues, Jason?
93. 93 with the White Sox.
Kipnis takes strike 3 call. Jason, thanks so much for stopping by. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me, guys.
That's Jason Beret. The Indians tack on a run through 6. They lead 2-0. Cleveland, 7th inning. Chilly day in Goodyear, Arizona. Temperature at game time just a little above 50 degrees. Dan Wheeler coming on, 47 appearances last year with Boston. Trying to make this club one of those last remaining bullpen spots. Lou Marson takes over for Carlos Santana behind the plate, and Bo Mills stays in the game at first base. Adam Kennedy, 0 for 2 on the day. Fly to right in the second, fly to left in the fourth. Yeah, the strike over the outside corner by Wheeler.
Dan Wheeler, a guy looking at one of those 2 bullpen spots. He got off to a rough start, so now with every turn out is going to mean something very big for him.
Bounced it in there. Wheeler has pitched 5 innings on the spring, and he's given up 10 hits, 8 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Good pitch. 1-2. Dan Wheeler, longtime reliever with Tampa Bay and Houston. Ripped foul. Another foul ball off the bat of Kennedy. Still think back to Adam Kennedy in his days with the Angels. Remember that ALCS game against, I believe it was Minnesota. He had 3 home runs in one game.
Well, he's a great low ball hitter. He's got that uppercut swing. He was traded for Jim Edmonds, where that's when Edmonds went from the Angels to St. Louis.
Two pitch. Popped in the air. Shallow left field. Out goes Donald, and it drops in front of Kanzler for a base hit.
Well, I said he's a good low ball hitter. It's a good pitch. He runs that fastball up, and he got it inside on him around the trademark. And you can tell just by the way Kennedy hit it, he figured, oh man, that's an at bat. But it had hang time, and it's able to fall into left field, so it'll go as a base hit. Leadoff man aboard here in the 7th.
Brings up Justin Sellers. Third straight inning now the Dodgers have had their leadoff man aboard. Sellers singled to start the 5th inning. But he was picked off by Joe Smith. James Loney led off the 6th with a walk, but it was erased on a fielder's choice. Now the hit by Kennedy to start this 7th. Down too low. 2 balls, no strikes. Two balls and 1 strike to count on Sellers. The Indians will have their only off day of the spring tomorrow. And then they'll get back to work on Wednesday against the San Francisco Giants. And Rick and I will televise that game right here on STO. Wednesday, 4 o'clock Eastern time start. 2-2. The Indians' final game here in Arizona will be on Monday, April 2nd, when they take on the Cincinnati Reds. Then the team will fly to Zebulon, North Carolina for a game Tuesday, April 3rd against the Carolina Mudcats, and then head home to Cleveland and open the season on Thursday, April the 5th against the Toronto Blue Jays. Wheeler with the 2-2. In the hole, a base hit. First 2 have reached. Nobody out. Matt Trainer coming to the plate.
Well, he tried to run it inside, didn't quite get it in there enough, and he finds a hole between short and third. So it's back-to-back singles now with nobody out. The Dodgers a chance to get on the board.
Matt Trainer reached on an error in the 3rd. He walked in the 5th. Oh, and 1 to count.
Dan Wheeler right now saying, I would need a ground ball. I need 2 outs with 1 ground ball here.
Squares, bunts it up in the air, drops, and then Wheeler's only play at first, 1 away. Kennedy to 3rd, tying run Sellers to 2nd base. that couldn't have worked out much better.
Well, you know, he let him go that first time, and then all of a sudden the sacrifice comes on to move the tying runs into scoring position. Done well. Now you get a pinch hitter for the pitcher.
I think this is Jerry Sands who came on at
so
first
they
base.
Double switched it earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Down low, ball one. Wheeler wants to talk to Marson. Tying run at second base with the Dodgers threatening here in the 7th inning. Jerry Sands was a 25th round pick back in 08. 6'4", 220 pounds. 2-0. And the 2-0 inside. 3 balls, no strikes. Smith played 3 years collegiately at Catawba College in North Carolina. He had 61 career homers, which established the school record. First team NCAA Division II All-South Region player while in college. So when you go from D2 to getting drafted, that's why he was a 25th round.
Well, that's
even though he's a big kid.
Difference.
3-1 count. Hop back out of play. Made it to the big leagues last year in just his 4th professional season. Talking about Jerry Sands. And as a rookie, had a 14-game hitting streak. Not too shabby. Struck him out. Big out for Dan Wheeler. 2 down.
Yeah, he's able to come back all the way from 3-0 to get the strikeout. Well, as a reminder, this March 24th on Saturday, you can come on out to Progressive Field and select a seat. Test drive for the best seats in the house and get a sneak peek of the newly renovated Club Lounge. You can call 216-420-HITS. Stop by between 10 and 2. You can log on to Indians.com and secure your seats. Nothing better. Go to the ballpark and see where you want to sit and watch some baseball this summer.
Jerry Hairston, like Lou Marson, who's right behind him there at home plate, makes his home right here. Well, not right here, but right up the road in Scottsdale, Arizona. After being out here for a number of years now for spring training, I can see why a lot of guys call Scottsdale, Arizona home.
Well, it gives them an
area.
extra 6 weeks.
Plenty of things to do as far as, you know, for especially guys like this. You know, you like to golf. There's a million opportunities for that.
I mean, that's one thing, but there's still a lot of former and current players that live here, you know, and they work out together, and it is amazing how many people are out here. You have half the teams train out in this area now, 15. And when you live in your spring training home, it's like getting an extra 6 weeks at home. You're not on the road, and you have family and you know, kids in school. It certainly makes a big difference.
I was listening to George Frazier the other day during the Rockies telecast. You know, they were down in Tucson for a number of years.
Right.
And now that they're up here in this area, even they're amazed at how the travel is so easy. Everybody is within half an hour to 45 minutes.
Yes.
It's probably your longest drive.
It's very convenient. I mean, we're sitting down here today talking to a number of scouts, and when they come out here to follow teams, they have a home base that they stay usually around the Scottsdale area. But it's only half an hour tops, 40 minutes to any of the ballparks where they say in Florida. I was down there for 10 days. I stayed in 4 different hotels because you have to go and stay where you have to drive to. So the convenience here is very nice. And then you have 2 clubs per, facility.
Just about everywhere, right?
Yeah, just about everywhere.
Back to the screen.
Oakland has its own place. The Giants have their own because they're in the older facilities.
And the Cubs.
All the newer facilities. And the Cubs. And the Cubs are, getting ready to get a new facility out here in Mesa. So, usually you have 2 in every ballpark. And it makes it just so much easier. There's a game on the main field for the whole month of March. Every day. You have 30 to 32 ball games. Just cut that in half instead of 15 or 16.
Dodgers had a banner couple of days up in Glendale recently.
Yeah, they set a record out here. 27,000 in a 2-day stretch out here. They played the Giants, what was it, Friday night or Saturday night, and then they had the
Angels
yesterday that only played a half a game, but they had 13 plus for both games.
2 on, 2 out. And a 2-2 count on Jerry Hairston. 0 for 2 with a walk today. Dan Wheeler trying to make it to the other side. Just missed in a full count. Wheeler surrendering a couple of base hits to start the inning. But he's 1 pitch away from getting out of trouble.
Well, there's that slider straight down.
Very close pitch.
Well, it was close, but he laid off and he got the call. I mean, it is close. He expected him to swing at it.
So now the 3-2 pitch. That got a piece of home plate umpire Tony Randazzo.
Being loose, sitting away. He wants that breaking ball away. I mean, he hung that pitch and he got away with one there. He followed it straight back. They wanted that pitch away. That gets the umpire look like in the right shoulder.
Again, the set by Wheeler. And the payoff. Strike 3 called. That'll end the inning. Wheeler comes back to get the Dodgers with back-to-back strikeouts. And they strand runners at second and third. 2-0 in favor of the Indians. As we go to the home half of the 7th inning, Kenley Jansen coming on to work now for the Dodgers.
Wow, look at that. 53 2/3 innings, 96 punch outs. I'm going to venture to say that this guy throws gas. He walked 26. All right, look who's behind the plate.
Josh Bard.
Josh Bard. He's still around, and he's trying to hang on.
Luis Cruz has taken over at third base. And we've got a new shortstop.
We'll figure it out.
But we don't have a... We don't know who he is. He's number 89. Not on the roster. We apologize to Dodger Nation. A little bit outside. The Dodgers only listed 2 extra infielders. Luis Cruz was one. The other, Josh Fields, who we saw with the Chicago White Sox for a number of years.
Right.
Trying to make their club as an extra corner guy. Oh, Josh Bard took that right off the mask. Russ Kanzler 0 for 2 today. He hasn't had many days like this because he has swung the bat very well.
Yes, he has. He's been a hitting machine.
Came in hitting .393 on the spring.
Ooh, that'll straighten you out.
Of Kanzler's 11 hits, 10 have been singles. He's been a singles machine. Just the one extra base knock. But make no mistake about it, he does have power. Mentioned before, he had an interleague. They had an inter-squad game here right before the Cactus League schedule began, and he hit a home run almost to the top of the batter's eye in center field. So he's got good juice. Swung on and missed. Kanzler down swinging. Strikes out for the 3rd time today. Clayton Kershaw started this game for Los Angeles. 5 1/3 innings. He allowed 1 run on 3 hits, walked 2, struck out 5.
That 1 run came back in the 1st inning. He was just a little bit off his game plan as far as control goes. But you can see why they ran right into this guy. Gold Glover. He fielded his position very well on the 3 opportunities he had today. And it'd be fun to watch that guy pitch in the real season. It really would be. He's got good stuff.
Ryan Spilborgh's 0 for 2. He came on for Michael Brantley, who left in the 2nd inning today. Brantley had 1 at bat.
We still never got any word on that, have we?
Well, last I heard, we were awaiting word. And that was a while back. Spilborgh's lines it foul. Good work. Jake Lemmerman is our shortstop. Spilborgh's strikes out. Back-to-back Ks. We're starting to see from Kenley Jansen what a lot of people saw a year ago.
Well, 96 punch outs in 52 1/3 innings last year, and you can see why that ball had some giddy up on it. Dodgers have always had a way or a knack of coming up with arms, you know, good live arms, strikeout pitchers, and always when you said, you know, their bullpen will be questionable this year, it doesn't surprise me that they'll fill it with some great arms.
Yeah, I think the fact they've had 8 different pitchers win the Cy Young Award speaks to how well over the entire history of the organization they've always been able to find
many
good
guys,
pitching.
good pitchers that haven't won it.
Yeah,
that were there as well.
Here's a called strike. 1-2 on Jason Donald, who is 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. Two and two. Right back out of play. You know who else they added to the mix in that bullpen that we saw for a number of years is Matt Guerrier.
Clevelander. Kid from Cleveland.
Formerly with the Twins. Donald fouling it back. Yeah, at 6'5" and almost 260 pounds, when Jansen lets it go, as hard as he throws, it must feel like the ball's on you in the blink of an eye. Breaking ball hit high in the air. Shallow right. Sellers, the second baseman, makes the catch, and the Indians go in order. We go to the 8th. Cleveland 2, Los Angeles nothing. All right, 2-0 Cleveland, 8th inning. Changes to tell you about now for the Indians. We've got Chris Ray coming on to pitch. And a number of changes in the infield. Now at second base is Argenis Reyes. And at short is Ching-Ling Hu. And at third base, I believe, is Gregorio Petit. And
you're right.
Chad Huffman is now taken over for Shin-Soo Choo in right field. Chop foul by Luis Cruz. Chris Ray, the 71-1. Broken bat bouncer to short. Who can't come up with it. Somewhere Costello are having a cackle right now that who's at short.
And who? Well, I mean, it'll find you. It just comes into the ball game, and there it is. Routine ground ball off the end of his glove. Third error by the Indians. The Dodgers also have 3 as well.
I don't know who's supposed to be at short.
What?
In the original Abbott and Costello routine. Matt Kemp 0 for 3. Reached on an error in the first. Struck out in the fourth. Bounced into a fielder's choice in the 6th. Ray with a 1-0 and a line drive to left. Base hit. Trevor Crowe cutting it off. On his way to third and in cruising is Luis Cruz. Dodgers at the corners with nobody out here in the 8th.
Well, Trevor Crowe did the right thing here. You know, you're not going to keep this guy down for long. You get that ball into second base. You keep the double play in order. It's a 2-run ball game. You're in the 8th inning. You don't even look at that guy going from first to third. One hopper in. And there you have it. So Kemp's afternoon or day is over.
Matt Engel comes on as the pinch runner at first base. Double play ball to short.
There you go.
Who? To Reyes, to Mills, and they kill 2.
Yes, indeed.
Luis Cruz scores. Dodgers are on the board, and the Indians' lead is cut in half, 2-1.
That's the whole purpose of that play we just talked about. But that guy on, getting the base hit, keep that tying run off second base, allow that pitcher to make 1 pitch and get 2 outs. And what happens the very next pitch? They're able to turn it. Sure, they score. But you got 2 outs, nobody on, and now you go to work and try and get that third out.
Juan Rivera 0 for 3. One ball, 1 strike. Sky high pop. Marson over near the dugout. He calls for it, but Petit calls him off. Makes the grab to end the inning. Dodgers get an unearned run. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 2-1 Cleveland.
The telecast is presented by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
The crowd being serenaded by a David Hasselhoff song here at Goodyear. I'm not making this up, folks.
You sure?
There he is. The Knight Rider himself.
Oh, Matt, he's all right. There you go. Do it, David.
Oh, man. All right, we're going
to get any better than that.
Bottom of the 8th inning. And now on to pitch for Los Angeles left-hander Scott Elbert. And he'll be facing Chad Huffman, Lou Marson, and Gregorio Petit, I believe.
Yeah, he looks like he's in the hole waiting to hit.
Yep. Chad Huffman on the spring is just 1 for 9. Josh Fields comes on at first base now for the Dodgers. Matt Engel is now in center field. And Sands goes from first base to left field. High pop in, out of plate on the right side. Sun busting through some of the cloud cover today here in Goodyear.
You know, that was that storm yesterday that really moved through, and I thought it was going to stick around today, but it's been fine. Just a lot of clouds.
Yep.
And as the week goes on, it's supposed to get back to normal by, what, Thursday, 80 degrees or plus.
What'd you say? It hadn't rained here the entire calendar
Almost 90
year.
days. Almost 90 days. That's right.
They made up for it yesterday. Not that it rained a ton, but it was, folks, it looked like seen right out of the Wizard of Oz. One thing missing was the funnel clouds. Base hit for Huffman to start the 8th for the Indians.
Well, again, opening day at Progressive Field is just a couple of weeks away. And even though it is sold out, you can secure your seats for all the excitement with an Indian season ticket package. Best seats and the best prices, and you will get to opening day if you buy a season ticket package. Call 216-420-HITS.
Lou Marson getting his first at bat of the day. He took over for Carlos Santana. Santana went 1 for 3, homered his last time up. That's the difference in the game right now. Lou looks at a ball outside. It was good to hear him when we talked to him earlier about offensively saying, you know, let that dog eat, basically turn it loose. And that's what you talked to him about last year.
Yeah.
He's got the good power, but a lot of times he'll let himself get jammed, let the ball track deep, and try to sort of punch it the other way.
Well, it's funny. Most times you try and reel guys in because they swing too hard, you know, and they're trying to hit too many home runs. Here's a guy that I think his approach comes up, and he hits with like he's got 2 strikes on him all the time. Well, when you get into hitters counts, he's 3-0, okay, 2-0, 3-0. Now you scrap your first thought about putting the ball in play, and you look for a pitch. He's a catcher. I mean, get a fastball and swing it hard. Don't worry about pushing it. You still got a chance to. I mean, you don't have to go crazy to try and hit it out of the ballpark, but I mean, pull the ball, hit it.
A walk to Marson, and the Indians trying to add to their lead, have their first 2 on with nobody out here in the 8th inning. You know, to take that a step further, I thought it was interesting. I was watching the MLB Network the other night, and Kevin Millar, who was with us earlier this spring, was talking to Albert Pujols, and he asked him about what drills he does when he's in the cage, when he's doing his work. And Pujols talked about doing tee work, you know, hitting off the tee, but he said he works from the outside in, because even the best hitter in the game, Albert Pujols, says the pitch I have the most trouble with is the pitch that's away. He said the pitch in, that's easy. I mean, that's right there. You just turn, you get your hands, you turn it right. That pitch away, though, as he said, is still the hardest one. And he said, I don't want to just slap it the other way. I want to be able to hit that pitch away and hit it hard and drive it. So that he works from the outside in when he's doing his work on a daily basis.
He's such a great breaking ball hitter. You know, he's truly one of the best. So it's just fun watching guys like that hit. There's so few of them around.
Gregorio Petit bunts it. Cruz fumbled with it, throws it just in time to get Petit for out number 1. Nicely done, though. 2 runners into scoring position. And with 1 out, Bo Mills a chance to extend the Indians' lead.
Well, the bunt, I mean, a good bunt, you're forcing the third baseman to field it. So the only play he has is first base, but he bobbled it and made it a lot closer than what it was. Trying to get the ball out, he just couldn't get a grip on the ball, but he's able to get it by half a step. But the job is done, so now the infield comes in for the Dodgers. The Indians with an opportunity to just add 1 on there.
Bo Mills, swing and a miss.
What?
Mills finished strong last year. Son of Astros manager Brad Mills. First round pick back in 07, the 13th overall selection. Takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Infield in for the Dodgers. With 1 out, runners second and third, and a chop foul. And the 1-2. Mills a high pop foul, and that'll find the seats.
Keep working, Bo.
Indians with 1 in the first and 1 in the 6th to build a 2-0 lead. Dodgers got on the board with an unearned run in the top half of this inning. Now the Indians trying to add to their lead with runners second and third and 1 out. In the dirt, gets away from Bard, but he kept it close enough so that Huffman could not come home. Josh Bard hails from Cherry Creek, Colorado. The 2-2. Got him looking. Just did catch the outside corner. And a huge out for Scott Elbert. 2 down. Now Lonnie Chisenhall will try to deliver with 2 outs. Indians got their first run of this game with a 2-out RBI hit in inning number 1 from Jose Lopez. Lefty-lefty matchup here for Chisenhall. Lonnie on the spring, 5 for 25. No extra base knocks. Takes a strike. One ball, 2 strikes. Elbert ready, the 1-2. Chisenhall delivers right up the middle. That's going to score a pair, and the Indians now lead it 4-1. Lonnie Chisenhall with a 2-out, 2-run single.
Well, good for Chisenhall. I mean, a guy who ended up doing a pretty nice job last year against lefties. Hit a lot of his home runs, but he hits a good low fastball. I mean, right there, that was a good swing. Kept his head down on it, drove it right back up the middle. Nothing better than a 2-out base hit, especially when it drives in a pair. So there's a little of the insurance that the Indians are able to add on. They make it a 4-1 game. Good hitting by Chisenhall.
Argenis Reyes gets his first at bat. Last year, Genis Reyes at AAA Columbus hit .313. He smashes it to center. Engel makes the catch. And we'll go to the ninth. Cleveland 4, Los Angeles 1. Los Angeles 1, and Chris Seddon, left-hander, coming on to work for the Indians. Chris Seddon is a 28-year-old out of Northridge, California. He's pitched 21 games in the big leagues. Some of those with the Florida Marlins, some with the Seattle Mariners. Let's see what he did last year between AAA and AA. Originally drafted by Tampa Bay back in 2001. Here in the ninth inning, Seddon will face Josh Bard and then Justin Sellers. And then they made a double switch, and I'm not sure who's in trainer's spot in the order, but we'll find out soon.
Here's number 89. Do you have that on the list?
Of course not.
Well, I didn't think so.
Oh, that's Lemmerman. That's a fair ball into the corner. Hoffman digs it out, but into second base is Josh Bard with a leadoff double.
This one looks like it caught chalk. Switch hitter Bard goes from the right side. Look at right down the right field line. Got chalk, and it stays in play, but it will be a double.
Justin Sellers to the plate. 2 for 3, couple of singles. Inside the bag, a fair ball. That's going to bring home Bard. Huffman cuts it off, but into second base is Sellers with an RBI double. Back-to-back two-baggers here in the ninth by the Dodgers. And it's a 4-2 Indians lead.
Well, he really let that ball get deep into the zone, and it fights it off right over the first base bag. So they change places. It's back-to-back doubles. Actually, a pretty nice piece of hitting right there.
Up high, ball one. Coming up after baseball here on Sports Time Ohio, all bets are off with Bruce Drennan. He'll visit with Ohio University coach John Groch.
Well, the state of Ohio well represented in the final 16, aren't they?
You're not kidding. 4 teams.
4 teams out of the 16.
Cincinnati, Ohio U, Xavier, and Ohio State. call. Jake Limmerman with a runner at second and nobody out in the ninth. Dodgers down 4-2. Chris Seddon fires, and Limmerman pounds it into the ground for a foul ball. The Dodgers will open the 2012 campaign on the road, but not too far from home. They'll open with a 4-game series against the Padres in San Diego before they go home to take on the Pirates. Boy, that was close, but just missing. And it's 2-2. Right back to the screen. The Dodgers won't play their bitter rivals from San Francisco until May the 7th, when they host a 3-game series against the Giants, and then they'll end the season with 3 games at home against San Francisco.
That usually is a very good rivalry. A lot like the Yankees Red Sox.
Seddon with the 2-2. Hit off the face of the Indians dugout. That sent Luke Carlin sprawling for cover.
Well, and he's behind the screen. That's an emergency swing there. You better be ready.
Even the catcher, who's used to taking foul tips off the mask, he saw that ball coming at him, and he was bailing in a hurry, trying to get out of harm's way. Ground ball to short. Who on the move throws him out. One away. Sellers to third. Jerry Sands struck out at his only time up. Seddon with a fastball strike. Now the 1-1 from Seddon, a little bit high. By the way, Chin-Ling Hu, who made that play at shortstop to retire Jake Limmerman, spent the first 8 years of his career in the Dodgers organization, and in fact became the first position player from Taiwan to hit a home run in the major leagues back in '07. Hu can't come up with it, though. Sands is aboard, and the Dodgers have scored again. It's a 1-run game.
Ball ranging to his left. Even if he makes that play, he's just going to have to spin and make a throw to try and throw him out. But he doesn't hold on to it. So the Dodgers now 1 run closer. The tying run is now on base.
Chris Pettit is now in the game as a runner. Fly ball deep center. And the catch made by Ryan Spilborghs in deep center field. Back to first goes Pettit, 2 down. Ryan Spilborghs handled that one with relative ease, and Rick, as we know, there are very few relatively easy fly balls in center field or in any outfield position in Arizona.
Yeah, here's the case where even in spring training you go no doubles defense. You play a little bit deeper, especially in Arizona where it's tougher to see. And it's usually the ball carries a little better with that tying run on first base. You try and cut everything off.
Luis Cruz. The last hope for the Dodgers with the tying run at first and 2 down in the ninth. Line drive, base hit in the left field. Pettit stops at second. Fourth hit allowed by Seddon in this ninth inning. And with 2 down, Matt Engel will be the hitter. Came on as a pinch runner in the 8th inning. That's out of play to the left. Two on, 2 out, 0-1 pitch. And he threw it by him, elevating it. No balls, 2 strikes. Seddon's 2-strike pitch, high and wide. Angle stays alive. Corey Sullivan would be next. Swung on and missed. He strikes him out to end the game. Dodgers rally with 2 here in the ninth, but they fall 1 run short as the Indians hang on for a 4-3 victory. It's their 5th win of the spring. Indians now 5-10 with 3 ties. Dodgers 8-5 with 4 ties on the spring. Indians offensively got a 2-out RBI hit from Jose Lopez in the first, and then Carlos Santana socked one to deep right field for a home run in the 6th inning, building a 2-0 lead for the Tribe. And boy, had Genmar Gomez been in regular season form, who knows, he might have pitched a shutout the way he was going.
Well, he's throwing the ball very well this spring. Another solid 4 innings today. Allowed just 1 hit and a play that should have been caught. His breaking ball was crisp. He had a little more zip on his fastball. He threw some very good changeups. Maniac has to be pleased with that, and I think he's got the front leg up on that number 5 starting spot as we speak right now.
Shutout innings also from Joe Smith and Vinny Pastano, and even Dan Wheeler worked some magic to get out of a jam with a scoreless inning of relief as well. So the Indians win it by a final score today of 4-3 here in Goodyear. Off day for the Indians tomorrow, their only off day of the spring. Rick and I will be back with the final spring training telecast for us when the Indians take on the San Francisco Giants Wednesday here in Goodyear. So for all of us here in the desert, our final score, the Indians 4 and the Dodgers 3. Have a great evening, and we'll see you Wednesday afternoon from Goodyear.